interesting when we change days and times and locations, but we've gathered up everybody. So I'll have the secretary please call the roll.
Senator Rocky Adams. Senator Alvarado.
Here.
Senator Douglas. Here. Senator Howell. Senator McGarvey. Senator Parrott. Here. Senator Schickel. Right. Senator Smith. Senator Storm. Vice Chair Girdler. Here. Chairman Carpenter.
Here. We have a quorum. We're ready to conduct business. Have several bills, so we'll jump right into it. Mr. Chairman, I'll let you come up. Chairman Rowland has House Bill 307. If you have any guest, which happens to be one of my constituents. Did you do that on purpose?
I did. I was hoping it would help.
Okay, that's your only hope, isn't it?
Yeah. Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the committee. Bart Rowland, State Representative, 21st House District.
J.D. Cheney, Kentucky League of Cities, 34th Senate District.
He's spot on there.
Yeah, he knew that, didn't he?
Yeah.
You're ready to get started.
I am. Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the committee. House Bill 307 is an initiative that was brought to be by the Kentucky League of Cities. As you know, Kentucky League of Cities is a legislative and advocacy organization for cities and municipalities across Kentucky, but they also operate a self-insured liability and workers' compensation group. They participated in a benchmarking initiative this summer and received really high marks in all categories. They were just a little bit low in the investment side. Their investments weren't bad. But it came to light that they were kind of handicapped by a decades-old statute that prohibits them from expanding their investments. So that's what House Bill 307 does. It's going to allow group self-insurance funds in Kentucky to better diversify and expand investment options and hopefully allow for better returns. I will yield to J.D. for additional comments and any questions you all may have.
I'll just add that we worked with the Department, did not do this in isolation. We worked with the Department of Insurance in crafting this language for reasonable, safe investments. So hopefully next time we do a benchmark process with AGRIP, we'll be a little higher on the investment side. That comes back to our cities and counties. This also impacts counties and a few other, KACO and a few other.
Have a motion on the bill in a second. These guys are not amateurs, so they know to hush and get her voted out. Ask the secretary, please call the roll.
Senator Rocky Adams. Senator Alvarado.
Aye.
Senator Douglas. Aye. Senator Girdler. Aye. Senator Howell. Senator McGarvey. Senator Parrott. Aye. Senator Schickel. Aye. Senator Smith. Senator Storm. Chairman Carpenter.
Aye. Do we have a motion for consent? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? We're on consent.
Thank you, Mr.
I
Chairman.
look forward to coming in before banking insurance in the House, Mr. Chairman.
Hopefully we see you next week.
That'd be good.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Mr. Constituent. We've known each other. We played pee-wee basketball together. He was the center, I was the point guard, and so we've known each other a really long time. So that's why we can harass each other.
I bet you JD never got to shoot it. He was the point guard.
He just rebounded and threw it to me. House Bill 370 is our next bill. Representative Derek Lewis, an act relating to healthcare trade practices. Representative Lewis, good to see you, and you have some guests with you. If you guys will introduce yourself for the record, and we'll get right into it.
Richard Whitehouse, Executive Director, Kentucky Dental Association. Thank you, Chairman, members of the committee. Derek Lewis, State Representative of the 90th District, representing Clay, Leslie, and Laurel counties.
Mr. Chairman, members, thank you for having me. My name's Dr. Jonathan Rich. I'm a general dentist and president of the Kentucky Dental Association.
Gentlemen, we appreciate having you. We'll let you get started.
Absolutely. Thank you, Chairman. Today we are presenting to you House Bill 370, our Patient Transparency and Dental Benefits Bill. House Bill 370 passed in the House 90-0. We worked with Anthem and Delta Dental to make changes. This language is primarily revolves around NCOIL language, dealing with three things: network leasing, virtual cards, and prior authorization. The last part of the bill deals with clarifying language for existing statute. But real quick, I'll give you a rundown of the bill. Network leasing. So insurance companies can sell, lease different insurance networks without the dentist's knowledge or consent, specifically impacting the insurance benefits available to patients. In states that allow network leasing to proceed without adequate protections, the insurance network may transfer the rights to a dentist contract to another insurance company without seeking the dentist's knowledge or consent. As a result, dentists may not be able to adequately advise patients on financial planning around dental services. House Bill 370 would permit a contracting entity to grant a third-party access to a provider network contract or provider's dental services or contractual discounts provided in pursuant to a provider network contract as certain network requirements are met. Prior authorizations, we worked with Anthem on many of the changes here. Again, this is off the Model Act, but to the typical patient, an insurance authorization means, barring unusual circumstances, payment for the services authorized prior to the treatment will be made by the benefit carrier. Unfortunately, an emerging trend among payers has been to deny a claim for a service that was authorized by the benefit carrier. House Bill 370 seeks to prohibit dental carriers from denying, revoking, limiting, conditioning, or otherwise restricting pre-approved dental care claims or claims approved in prior authorizations. Virtual credit cards. Increasingly, insurance carriers are requiring providers to accept payment through a virtual credit card, which includes a per transaction fee as high as 5%.
Thank you.
I'll shut up.
We have a motion and a second. Do your guests want to say anything? Do they have any comments they want to make?
We're good, Mr. Chairman. Just happy to be here.
All right.
Happy to answer your questions.
Absolutely.
Senator Girdler.
Dentist, when you leave here, Dr. Dentist, don't leave, and I'll have you look at a couple of my teeth.
It'd be an honor.
All right, thank you.
I'll ask the secretary, please call the roll.
Senator Rocky Adams, Senator Alvarado,
Aye.
Senator Douglas, Senator Girdler, Senator Howell, Senator McGarvey, Senator Parrott, Senator Schickel, Senator Smith, Senator Storm, Chairman Carpenter.
Aye. We have a motion for consent. Do I have a second? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Any opposed? We're on consent.
Thank you, Chairman, members of the committee.
We appreciate it, gentlemen.
Thank you
Thank
very
you all for
much.
being here. Senator McGarvey, good to have you here, sir. Appreciate you. House Bill 380 is our next bill. Mr. Chairman, come back to the table. An act relating to insurance and trade practices. You probably know a little something about this, I would assume, Mr. Chairman, so looks like you don't need any guest on this one.
Heard a little bit about it. Chris Nolan's in the room if there are any questions.
Sounds good. Go ahead.
All right, thank you, Mr. Chairman. House Bill 380 is a in-coil model bill to modernize Kentucky's decades-old insurance rebating laws. There are two primary areas of this legislation. The first applies to the insurance carriers and would allow our rebating laws to keep pace with recent product innovations. As many of you all know, insurance carriers are providing devices like telematics. They're also providing loss detection services that can go on your water heater so you know about a leak before it happens. They just want to be, these products cost money, and so the insurance companies just want to be sure they're not running afoul of the rebating law when they're giving those to a customer who's paying premium. The second part of the bill updates the 2-decade-old gift limit, and it raises that from $25 to $250.
Senator Girdler, I was afraid that he might not vote for this because I know he's pretty cheap. He might not want to have to take anybody out to lunch, so I didn't know if he would be for it or not. So we have a motion and a second. Ask the secretary, please call the roll.
Senator Rocky Adams, Senator Alvarado,
Aye.
Senator Douglas, Senator Girdler, Senator Howell, Senator McGarvey, Senator Parrott, Senator Schickel, Senator Smith, Senator Storm, Chairman Carpenter.
Aye. We have a motion for consent and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Any opposed? We're on consent.
Thank you, Mr.
This
Chairman.
consent thing kind of helps, Mr. Chairman.
It is. I wish we could get that back in the House. You run a very efficient committee, Mr. Chairman. I
Well,
appreciate it.
I appreciate your service. Our next bill is House Bill 474. We have a new member, Mr. Sarge Pollock, Representative. We appreciate you being here relating to insurance data security. If you have any guests, I think there's a committee sub, if I'm not mistaken. Motion and a second on the sub. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. The sub is adopted.
Thank you, sir. I
You
have.
might want to identify yourself just for the record.
Okay.
I'll cut you off. I'm sorry.
No. Michael Sarge Pollock, District 51, Representative Taylor, Adair, and Marion now.
Good.
I do have on a Zoom call, Commissioner of Insurance, Sharon Clark is with us as well. Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the committee. House Bill 474 is a data security bill. This bill is based on the NAIC's Insurance Data Security Model Law and is supported by the Kentucky Department of Insurance. This legislation creates a uniform, consistent, and flexible framework for individual states to address emerging threats and technologies. The bill applies to all licensees, which includes insurance companies and agents, but it exempts agents and companies that have less than 50 employees. So here's the 4 things this legislation requires licensees to do: identify internal, external threats to their individual information systems, develop an information security plan and submit that plan to the Department of Insurance, investigate cybersecurity events when they occur, and then report those events to the Department of Insurance. We have worked with all the stakeholders and the insurance companies to make sure their concerns are addressed in this bill, and everyone has signed off on its content. On the subcommittee, here's the 2 primary things that's addressed in that subcommittee, and that is in Section 9, it clarifies the HIPAA exemption and the Gramm-Leach-Bliley exemption for healthcare entities and banks that are already complying with these federal laws. And then the other, in Section 4, paragraph 5, the sub clarifies that the licensee's executive management or their delegates are responsible for complying with the law.
Have a motion and a second. We appreciate your work, and I knew that there were some things that need to be cleared up here. Had some of the banking associations had called me and a few of the insurance groups, and so appreciate working on that. Motion and a second on the bills adopted by the committee sub. Ask the secretary, please call the roll.
Senator Rocky Adams. Senator Alvarado.
Aye.
Senator Douglas.
Aye.
Senator Girdler. Senator Howell. Senator McGarvey. Senator Parrott. Senator Schickel. Senator Smith. Senator Storm. Chairman Carpenter.
Aye. We have a motion for consent. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? We're on consent.
Thank
Sarge,
you, Mr. Chairman and committee.
appreciate you coming and doing a good
Yes, sir.
job.
Thank you.
We're moving right along here. The last bill we're going to do is Senate Bill 298. Commissioner Vice is here. This is actually my bill, but I'll let Commissioner Vice come to the table to explain it, and I won't drag it out too long at all. And he can answer questions if you have it. Commissioner, just introduce yourself for the record. Always good to see you.
Good to see you too. Thank you. Hello. Goodness, got a frog in my throat. Hello, my name is Charles Vice. I'm the Commissioner for the Department of Financial Institutions here in Kentucky. I want to thank Chair Carpenter and the members of the BNI for considering 298 today, which is an act relating to persons regulated under the Securities Act of Kentucky. I also want to thank Chair Carpenter for sponsoring the bill. The securities industry is important to Kentucky's economy and for capital formation within the state. Currently, there are 160 state registered investment advisors in Kentucky, and these advisors oversee $3 billion in assets under management. The DFI has discussed the initiatives in 298 with the industry, and we've not received any negative commentary. Senate Bill 298 incorporates provisions of 3 model rules adopted by the North American Securities Administrators Associations. The bill would require investment advisors in Kentucky to establish written procedures relating to business continuity, written security and cybersecurity policies and procedures. And finally, Senate Bill 298 would create a new section under KRS Chapter 292 to establish continuing education requirements for investment advisor representatives in Kentucky. So I'll address each one of those areas briefly. Business continuity and succession plan. This is a common sense requirement that we have all experienced during and given what we've experienced during the COVID-19 pandemic and severe weather events recently in Kentucky. In 2016, the SEC proposed a rule to require all federal registered investment advisors to adopt and implement a written business continuity and transition plan. NASA subsequently developed a model rule to require all states registered investment advisors to do the same. The objective of establishing a business continuity plan is to hold the firm to their fiduciary obligations and to minimize any potential harm to clients due to severe service interruptions. Relative to physical security and cybersecurity, again in February, the SEC proposed new rules requiring federal registered investment advisors to adopt
implement, and enforce written cybersecurity policies and procedures, and to review and evaluate and design the effectiveness of those policies and procedures at least annually. Many of the requirements in the SEC proposal are already codified in the NASA model rule that is the basis for this bill. In 2021, we actually had an investment advisor in Kentucky that had undergone a ransomware cybersecurity attack. Finally, many of the custodians that have relationships with state registered investment advisors require cybersecurity insurance and a written cybersecurity plan as addressed in this bill. Finally, the continuing education requirement. In addition to the 160 that I mentioned earlier, in addition to that, Kentucky has approximately 6,300 investment advisors representative registered in Kentucky. Investment advisor representatives are tested for their knowledge before they are registered, but there is no mechanism currently to ensure that they maintain or expand their level of knowledge or competence. By comparison, most other financial professionals are subject to continuing education requirements, including broker-dealer agents, insurance agents, certified financial planners, and real estate agents. NASA received significant support from state regulators and the securities industry for the creation of a CE program. The focus of the continuing education program will be to promote regulatory compliance while also helping investment advisor representatives better serve their clients by remaining knowledgeable of current regulatory requirements and best practices. NASA adopted the model rule in November 2021. At least 3 states, which include Maryland, Mississippi, and Vermont, have already passed the IAR continuing education legislation, and 20 additional states are expected to pass the requirements in 2022. This concludes my testimony, and I'm willing to take questions.
I haven't had any calls that had anybody negative comments. I mean, most people feel like this is something that needed to be added. It's been a while since we've updated this process. So,
Yes.
Do we have any questions or comments? Have a motion on the bill in a second. All those, Secretary, please call the roll.
Senator Rocky Adams. Senator Alvarado.
Aye.
Senator Douglas. Senator Girdler. Senator Howell. Senator McGarvey. Senator Parrott. Senator Schickel. Senator Smith. Senator Storm. Chairman Carpenter.
Aye. The bill does pass. Do I have a motion for consent? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. We're on consent. I thought Senator McGarvey may vote no, just so I'd have to explain that on the floor, Mr. Chairman. We're adjourned. That's the good part about being chairman. See how quick that was? No. I don't think there's anything else, but we're getting down to the last few days of session, so it gets kind of crazy. So I'm sure we may have my former chairman, my buddy Tom Buford would do, a special called meeting in the back corner somewhere. But we have a few more weeks till we have to get to that point. So with that.